Hi everyone, thank you for coming to my Vulnerably Badass YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about mother-son trip to Everglades National Park. So some of you already know that I'm into national parks since I immigrated to US 2 years ago, and I got this national park adventure guide. I visited Shenandoah and Rocky Mountains and Haleakala, but I noticed that my son just visited Shenandoah National Park, so he had 4-day-and-a-half weekend last weekend. So I decided I want to take him to national parks. My first initial plan was take him to Virgin Islands, but because our green card application process, green card extension process, I didn't know when it was gonna be over, so I didn't want to take risk. Although it's, technically I was told you don't need really passport or anything, but still I want to be safe, so I decided somewhere warm, and I decided to go to Florida because Florida has to Miami, because Miami has one Everglades National Park and two Biscayne National Park. So the first day we just arrived in the afternoon and we had dinner, but the next day I decided to spend the whole day at Everglades National Park. And when I look at online, what I found was there are so many ranger-led programs, walking tours or programs, and it's free. And one of them I found was at Flamingo Visitor Center at Everglades National Park, and it was called Shoreline Flamingo. So it was hour-and-a-half, 90-minute program, but you get on a kayak and paddle and go through on the water and see different animals and different plants. So I was like, oh, that would be fun for me and my son, and I wanted to do it. But you cannot make a reservation online. You have to visit the visitor center at 8:15 in the morning, sometime between 8:15 and 10:30, they said. But when I called, they recommended to come 8:15 because sometimes there are so many people and there's only 6 kayaks and 12 people who can participate. So we woke up early and drove to Flamingo Visitor Center. But unfortunately, because during our weekend it didn't rain, but it was really windy. So because of that wind, they canceled Shoreline Flamingo kayaking program. So I was so sad because we came all the way. But the ranger told me there are so many different programs right after the appointment time, the registration time. So like from 8:30 to 11ish. Yeah. So what we did instead was decided to participate in the morning ranger-led programs. So the first one was from 8:30. It was called Leafy, Barky, Toxic. So ranger show us different plants and explain about it. So from that, I learned many things, but one of the, I think, best thing I learned is like red mangrove and black mangrove. Red mangrove look like the trunks, or what do you call, the branches are going down like this, but black mangrove have little roots or branches coming up from the water. So I was like, oh, okay. And every time I see any mangroves, I was paying attention. So that was really fun. And after that, right after that was a 15-minute break, there was marvelous manatees. So they have a little bay where the boats can come, and marina. And in that marina, there are so many manatees. And the water wasn't clear, so we couldn't really see in the water what the manatees were doing, but when the manatees came close to the water to breathe, we were able to see. And some would just breathe and go back, but some kind of stayed really close to the water. So it was really nice, like so close. And I I never saw any manatee, like wild manatee. Of course, I saw at aquariums, but it was amazing to see so many of them, like at least 5, 6 were there. So that was nice. My son really liked it too. And then the next tour was Incredible Osprey, and it was 15-minute program from 10, but we actually saw osprey's nest, and it was interesting. It wasn't at a tree or anything, but it was like a pole, I think. What's the purpose? I don't remember, but it was like man-made pole, and they made a huge nest, and osprey's couple was there, and they had some chicks. We couldn't see the chicks, but they were bringing food and feeding the chick and fly out and come back again, and we were able to see them, and they were chirping. I don't know if that's the word you use for ospreys, but like they were making sound, and we were able to listen to it right there. So that was so exciting to see osprey in front of us. Then from 10:30 there is a program called Crocs Alive, and we did see, it was far, oh no, it came close to, we saw crocodile or alligator. I learned the difference of alligator and crocodile, but still in Japanese language or Korean language they were both like one word, so it's, I don't remember the distinctions, but we saw crocodile or alligator far away, like swimming. It was a big one because we were able to see from far away, and one swimming towards us. We were on the bridge and they were swimming, one big one was swimming towards us, and I was able to see it. That was amazing, so big and just right below us. So yeah, and by the time everything finished, it was like 11:30, and we had such a good time in the morning because we were able to see pelicans flying, and we saw rainbow too. So yeah, it was sad we couldn't join the kayak tour, but it was so amazing to see all the wild animals without any fence or glass or anything. So I recommend these going to Flamingo Visitor Center in the morning to join these ranger-led programs because they're back to back. And after that, we went to West Lake to have lunch because we brought sandwiches. But there, they have picnic tables, so it was nice. But the view wasn't that great, and there were so many crows, so it wasn't really relaxing lunchtime. You kind of like sit and make sure the crows don't get your food. Then after that, we drove because Flamingo Visitor Center is the kind of farthest away from the entrance. So we enjoyed in the morning, and we drove back towards the entrance. And there was mahogany hammock. I didn't know anything about hammock, but what hammock means is like there is water or a lot of shallow grass, but all of a sudden there is a lot of trees that make island, and it's called hammock. So we went there, and on the way there you have boardwalk, and there's nothing on the side, but as soon as you approach hammock, you see trees, big trees, or island with trees, and then we walked around and came back. So it was nice to experience this new concept, what hammock is. And then next we went to I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Oki. What it was is you can see like a lot of grasses and shallow water, and it looked like water is not moving, but it is like moving. So river of grass, it's called, like very shallow, and it's slowly moving. So the water was clear, so we were able to see like little tiny fish and turtles. So that was nice. And I didn't know, but when you look at the big map, they have this thing that's weird. Like this part is like a regular map, but this is like a lot of green dots. So that's what the slough, I don't know how you pronounce SLOUGH, the shallow grass river that's flowing. So it's not just dots, but it's the ecosystem. That's how the grass and river is running. And so we were able to see that from far. So that was amazing. And we went to Royal Palm. That's really close to the entrance. And there they have Gumbo Limbo Trail. So Gumbo Limbo is plant, tree, but it's also called tourist tree because the tree itself looks really reddish, orangish, and it peels. So what the ranger told us is like it's called tourist tree because it looks like tourists who got sunburnt. So that was funny, but we walked around the trail. All these trails were like really short, so even small kid like my 9-year-old, he didn't get bored. So that was nice. And then Royal Palm has another trail that's called Anhinga Trail, and that one was the, I think, biggest, like most shocking trail for us, because as soon as we started walking, we saw real alligators or crocodile, like so big, so in front of us. Like we were like, wow, even like 4 or 5 feet in front of us. And it's scary, right? Because we're not aware of that. I mean, it's not part of our everyday life. So like, you know, we don't get scared either. Like we were like getting too close, but other people were looking like, hey, like, isn't that, aren't you crazy? Like you have to stay away. So, and then the sign says we have to stay away at least 15 feet. So at one point we got so close, but there was a kind of like a little wall or something that was, I don't know, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet or something. So we got close. But then we started walking. Then again, there was no little wall or blocks or anything, but 2 alligators or crocodiles on the right, big ones, and another one on the left, and another one on the left a little bit farther. And the road was, I don't know, it wasn't too wide, kind of narrow. So like, I'm like, it's so scary. Like they didn't move at all. People walking back and forth. But I have a 9-year-old and I wasn't sure, you know, how to do it because of this side and that side, both alligators or crocodiles. And we were walking slow, but I'm worried if we walk too slow, that's dangerous, but I wanted to run, but if running kind of stimulates, so I wasn't sure. And then my son kind of froze right in front of the crocodile. So I said, why are you stopping in front of them? Go. And a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was fun. And it was amazing. Again, it's the same feeling when I saw manatee, but especially crocodiles or alligators, like so close without anything blocking us, just me and gators right there. And they're real and they're not farmed or anything, so this is amazing. So that was the experience at Everglades National Park, and I'm so thankful everything is free. Yes, if you don't have the pass, or you know, you have to pay for parking, $20 or $25 or more, depending on what kind of car you have. Thankfully, I have the military ID, so national parks are free. But still, even if you have to use $20 or $25 for parking or just to enter the national park, still it's worthwhile to experience like the amazing nature. So I hope my son enjoyed. He did enjoy. We did little trail many times, so in the whole day we walked more than 10,000 steps, but he never complained and he never said he was tired, and so that was great. So I recommend you to visit Everglades National Park in Florida. Yes, you know, Orlando and going to Disney or other parks will be fun, or Miami Beach or that might be good, but just visiting the nature with children will be a really nice experience. So thank you for coming to my Vulnerably Badass YouTube channel. See you next time.